So they, I saw the doctor and he was like, yeah, you've broken 2 bones. We need to put you in a full cast, basically. Like the, don't know if you can hear that, but like a plaster cast. Yeah, it was 9 a.m. at that point, and I fell down the stairs at 1 a.m. Thank you, Ravs. Love you too. Thank you for the raid. I didn't get a color to pick. I just got white. A Yogg's cast, exactly. So that is pretty nasty, because what they need to do, probably not good for squirmish people, is, so my ankle was like, my foot was sort of sticking out in a funky direction, basically. And they have to put your foot back into a normal, like, I had to use my other good foot to show you, but you don't get to see that for free. So imagine like your foot is like that, right? You know, it's like do like that. My foot was going off over there somewhere. So they have to manipulate it and put it back so it's the right way. But obviously alignment, they have to align it. But obviously that is indescribably painful when your fucking bones are broken. So what they did is, well, they gave me morphine, they gave me codeine, and then they gave me gas in it. And I was out of it. Holy shit, I was out of it. That was quite funny. So I was sitting there. Oh, I'm on a lot of codeine, Ravs. I'm on a lot of codeine, my friend. Sorry, I need to text you back. It's been a pretty shit week. But yeah, lots of codeine. Big Liz, known for being high up, was even higher. I was high off my titties. So basically it's weird. Like you breathe it in and out like pregnant women do, right? And then they would do it. He was holding my leg, my ankle, and like putting the plaster cast on. And suddenly, so how it happened to how I like reacted to it is everything was like, also I hadn't eaten, I had a completely empty stomach, and I'd taken a lot of pain medication. So that probably made it even stronger. And all their voices, so I had 2 nurses and a doctor who were doing it. All their voices were like echoing. So every time someone spoke, it did this, every time. So I was just like, oh my God, like just listening to them, like this is nuts. And then I opened my right eye and I was looking at a train at the countryside. And I was like, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. I was not looking out the train at a countryside. I was in a hospital room. They really improved the view. And then I opened my eyes and I was like, oh, they're like, wow, they've really done a lot. And there was the tannoy kept being like, can someone please go to the room. Friendly readers, the tannoy person was not talking. There was no one talking. My brain was completely making that up. Can doctor please come to room 5? I was like, my God. Anyway, I open my eyes and it's near the end and I'm like breathing it in and out. And then, so in my head, I can't even describe it, man. Drugs fucking mess with you. I mean, this was the only good part of it. This is the only bit I enjoyed. I thought that everything the doctor was saying, I was hearing 3 minutes later. And there was a delay on his voice. But I knew it was happening, but he didn't know it was happening. And then I looked up and his voice was coming from the hallway, but it was the 3 minute later voice coming from the hallway. Because I was looking at his mouth and his mouth was shut, but I could still hear him talking. So I was like, oh, okay, that's the 3 minute voice coming out of the hallway. So I took the thing out and I was like, do you hear that? And he was like, hear what? And I was like, your voice is in the corridor. He was like, really? I was like, yes, it's delayed, but it's in the corridor. And the nurse was like, oh, honey, it's the drugs. And I was like, what? She's like, it's the drugs. And then I realized and I was like, oh my God, this is what happens when people do drugs. And I'm hallucinating, aren't I? And she was like, you're hallucinating. Yes, it's the drugs. So I was like, I was like, oh, when people get their wisdom teeth done and they're talking bullshit, this is what I'm doing. I'm hallucinating this. She's like, yeah, it's not happening. And I was like, my God. At the end, he was like, I think you've had enough. And he went to go take it off me. And I was like, I tried to get as much as I could before he took it off me. I didn't want to give it back. I was like, this is great. I was saying to him, I was like, that was great. I really enjoyed that. Anyway, they gotta get my money's worth. If I'm gonna go through this horrifically traumatic experience, I might as well get high for free. They then had to x-ray my foot again in the cast because they need to make sure that the bones are like aligned properly, because there's no point putting it in a cast if the bones aren't aligned, because then they're going to heal and they're going to fuse wrong and then you're not going to be able to walk right. So I had a x-ray and then they took me back into the A&E and they came back and they said the cast isn't on correctly. Unfortunately, we're going to have to do it again. Your bones aren't aligned properly. So I was like, at this point I was just like, okay. Like, okay. Why not? Go on then. More gas! More drugs! I mean, I really want to go home, but okay. So they took that cast off. They like cut it off with a big knife. I don't know what they were doing at that point. They gave me more gas in there, but at this point, I was like, I know that it's going to make me hallucinate, so I'm not going to make a fool of myself. I'm just going to enjoy it. But this time it was weird. It was a different scenario because a different woman did it this time. And I think this woman was angry at the woman who did it the first time because she thought the woman who did it the first time didn't do it right. Because she was like, she was like, what did she say to me? She said something about I could have done it right the first time or something. So in my head, this is what I was thinking about before it happened, right? And as they were doing it and I was like huffing it, I had my eyes closed and so this time everything was still echoing. But this time the woman was bitching to the other nurse about what happened. But I opened my eyes and looked at her and her mouth was totally shut. She wasn't talking and I was looking at her, but I could hear her saying like, see, she did a bad job. And I was just looking at her being like, my God, they're bitching, but she's not actually talking. And then I was looking at the man and he was replying, but his mouth wasn't opening. And I was like, am I reading their minds right now? Am I reading their minds? It was so weird. It was the bizarrest experience. I really enjoyed it though. I'm not trying to condone drugs, but during what was like a really horrific time, sitting there off my nut for about 10 minutes was actually a nice vacation from what was going on. I don't condone drugs, only if you need to take them if you've had a traumatic injury. But yeah, and then she took it off and I was like, I basically said like, I kept hallucinating while that was happening. And she was like, oh yeah, some people like it, some people hate it. She said that she tried to have it for pregnancy, but she hated it. It made her sick, made her feel sick. Some people get like really anxious when they take it. I apparently just like hallucinate. I audio hallucinate. I didn't see anything. I was just hallucinating people talking and hallucinating like sound effects and stuff. Although the train, I did hallucinate the train. I forgot about that. The train was the only thing I hallucinated. So I guess everyone reacts to it differently. And I think it probably didn't help that I had morphine and codeine, had no sleep and hadn't eaten anything. All part of my system. The train wasn't real. What do you mean the train wasn't real?